There's a saying we have in Benin that if one person is rich in a family, he or she is still poor. The belief is that your wealth is for everybody, not just you and your children. So unless a good number of people in the family get rich, everybody shares your wealth with you. It sounds noble, right? And in many ways it is noble. Many of us grow up seeing our parents take care of others without blinking. Because in African families, the ones doing slightly better are expected to help the others. But that noble culture has a darker side, one most people now call black tax. I don't like the term black tax because of the mindset behind it. The word tax implies obligation, punishment, or being drained. It takes away your choice. It keeps us stuck in that mindset that we must give, even when we can't. I believe you should be able to say no sometimes, or to pause, or to give differently. But the mindset behind black tax does not even give you room for all that. God loves a cheerful giver. But with black tax, whether you are cheerful or not, you just have to give. Some families don't just ask for help, they demand it. They shame you if you say no. They remind you who paid your school fees. They guilt trip you into feeling like you've forgotten home. Some even threaten to curse their children if they stop sending them money, whether the children are abroad or just doing well in the city. This is why many people call it black tax, because you kind of have no choice. It is the quiet pressure that makes someone who is rich stay poor, because when everyone is leaning on you, you don't really get off the ground. So the question becomes, how do you break free from this black tax cycle without abandoning your people? Before you send that money, ask yourself, will this help them stand on their own, or will it keep them coming back to me? I prefer to think of it as black investment, not black tax. Tax feels like a burden you can't escape, while investment means you are expecting growth, change, and independence. I know that not everyone wants their family members to be truly independent of them. Some people enjoy being seen as the benefactor, adaze. They like the respect, the God bless you message, the kneeling to thank them, the sense of importance that comes with being the one everyone runs to in the family. If they gave you tools to stand on your own, they wouldn't have that spotlight. So some people still like to stay in that spotlight. And if that's you, maybe this is the time to click off. For me, I prefer to give in ways that build capacity and not dependency. Paying school fees, enrolling someone for apprenticeship, buying the starter tools for a business. These are all investments. They set a clear expectation. One day, you won't have to come back to me again. Oh. You've probably heard the saying, don't just give fish, teach them to fish. It's a cliche, but it's still true. Because if you keep sending fish, you will always have to send more, even to their children's children. And when you cannot afford to send fish anymore, you will pass that burden to your children to keep sending your family members fish. When many of us moved abroad from Africa, we did not drop our culture of giving and looking after family members in Africa. We brought it with us. It shows up in the way African parents raise their children. In many Western countries, young adults are expected to move out of the house as soon as they turn 18 or they start paying rent. They pay their own tuition fee in the university by taking loans, and even before their career starts, most of them are already in debt. But African parents abroad, they help their kids with tuition. They encourage the children to even stay home after they've graduated, so they can save money and start life from a position of strength. Many people see this as spoon feeding, but when this is done right, it's not just spoon feeding. It is giving your children the freedom to start life on a strong note. Something many other cultures don't prioritize. Because when your child starts life without these crushing debts, they can move ahead faster, build wealth earlier, and be in a position to help somebody else. But here's the risk. If you take away the debt without discipline, you've just created dependency with no urgency for your children to stand on their own 2 feet. If your child or your family back home see your help as a permanent duty, not like a temporary boost, they will begin to plan around your pockets, not their own abilities. And that's when our beautiful culture of giving and looking after each other mutates into something else: obligation, entitlement, and in some cases, control. The same hands that fed you will be the same hands that hold you back. When we reframe our giving as an investment, we preserve what's beautiful about our culture and cut out the parts that keep people dependent. Story time. A Nigerian lady in Canada was sending 150k home every month. At first, she managed fine. Then came the school fees for a cousin, rent for an auntie, and hospital bills for a neighbor her mom could vouch for. 3 years in, she realized she had spent almost 6 million naira and no changes. If anything, the calls kept coming, the needs were increasing. She knew she needed to change strategies, so she decided to give differently. She told her parents that she would still send them 150k for 6 months. But then it had to go towards starting a small poultry business in their backyard that her younger brother could help them manage. Her younger brother was still home with their parents and he was working part-time. So he took on the heavier chores and the parents handled the lighter chores like picking the eggs, helping out with sales. They were proud to have their own family business. During this time, the lady still sent something extra so her parents' needs are covered. Because during the early months, the profits went right back into the business, so they didn't want to start eating from the profits. By the end of the year, the poultry was generating enough income to cover the household expenses without this lady sending money home every month. She still helped with emergencies or those one-offs, but her black tax turned into a family investment. Her family was earning with dignity and even employed some of the neighbors' kids. And this lady stopped living in fear for the next request. This is what happens when giving becomes an investment instead of a monthly bill with no returns. Like we said before, teach people to fish, don't give them fish. In our African context, teaching people to fish does not mean starting a big company or turning them into an entrepreneur overnight. It can be as simple as setting something sustainable that matches their skills, their age, their reality, or their interests. For this lady's family, poultry worked because they had the space, the time, and a responsible and trusted sibling who could handle the hard work. For someone else, it might be a small shop or learning in-demand skills or even renting out equipment that generates income without heavy labor. When you reframe your support this way, it stops feeling like black tax, that endless obligation that drains you. And instead, it feels like an investment or black investment if you like. You're still helping, but now your help builds independence instead of dependence. And the dignity it gives the people you love, ooh la la, that's priceless. Here in Canada, at the end of the year, we get tax return. But it's black tax. There's no returns. I've said it before, I don't like that term, black tax. Whether it's the color or the tax, I don't just like the term. Love looks like punishment. Helping someone looks like a drain. It traps you in survival mode because if everyone is leaning on you, you never really get off the ground. What that lady did, I call it black investment. Instead of pouring money into the same need month after month, she turned that stream into something that could not flow without her. Instead of creating dependence, she created independence with dignity. I know it takes more planning. It requires saying no sometimes. And yes, some people may even call you stingy or ungrateful. But the alternative is worse. Carrying everyone else until you collapse and leaving nothing behind. Remember that Benin proverb we started with that says, when one person is rich in a family, that person is still poor. It's a warning. It's not telling you to give until you break. It's telling you to lift others in a way that they can also stand, so that wealth, stability, and opportunities spread beyond just you. Because when more of us rise, the pressure on each person becomes lighter, and the family that once drained you becomes the family that fuels you. So before you send that money next time, think, how can you help these people be independent of you? And that is why when people don't give with wisdom, they end up doing multiple jobs and no time to rest, like the cases we looked at in our first episode of this series. Check out the other episodes on this series and I will see you on my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.